Hey guys, Steven here with Team Covenant, and I am joined by Brad Emon. How's it going, Brad? I saw that you made it in the top 16, and so I was hoping I didn't have to play you because I know you're a good player. And I didn't, but you also got knocked out, and I know that because you're holding a beer right now. That's if you ever are traveling around at Worlds and you notice people drinking beer, those are the people who got knocked out of the top 16 or the top 8 early, and it's like, well, now it's time to drink, and that's not a bad trade-off, really.
The other part of that too is, what is it, like 11?
It is 11.
Wisconsin, man, Wisconsin. It's bad.
So tell me about kind of your lead up to Worlds, how you did and everything, how you were feeling coming in, and then how'd this top 16 match go?
My year has actually been pretty good for Netrunner. As far as regionals go, I've taken first, second, and second.
Yeah, I can't argue with that.
Yeah, I took second here in Roseville. It was actually a tough match. I kept a really good hand, and I just kept drawing agendas. There was a point, too, it was really funny. In the top 4, I beat Jeremy Zwern.
Oh, that's a big deal.
Yeah, right? So the last match, Lucas in top 2, Lucas is sitting behind me, Jeremy's on the other side. Guy gets like 6 points or whatever. I have a posted bounty in my hand and 4 other cards. And he was just destined to win. This guy was just destined to win. I shuffle my hand and I fan it out and I turn to Jeremy and I'm like, I bet you $5 he hits it. And the guy bloop, posted bounty and I'm like, very good game, sir.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was my regional experience, first, second, and second. I went to Gen Con, took top 16 there. I lost against a guy, he had like the absolute whale and nut draw. His server was Archer Tollbooth.
Yeah, I mean, you don't get in.
So like I got an agenda for every 2 that he got, and that's what made it really hard. Yeah, that was Gen Con, top 16 there. And then I went to 1 plugged in tour, took first in that. I actually beat Scott right over there, who's buddies with Aaron, who's playing right now. We went 1-1 split, and then I had the better tiebreakers, so I ended up taking it down. After that, we were like driving home, going like 70 down county roads, and it's just corn, and I got super sick, and I didn't want to get up the next day because the one we went to started at 6, and the next one was at like 10 or 11 in the morning.
Wow.
And we would have had to drive like 2 hours to get there, so I was like, no, I'll just stay home.
Cool.
So that was my plugged in tour, and then here, top 32, won my first round pretty handily, actually. I scored a 5-3 with Andro really early.
Nice.
And then he had a server with an Enigma up that was rezzed. I account siphoned his hand. He forgot to res his Ash.
Oh, no.
It wasn't like a huge difference because I still would have had enough to get through. But I scored another 5-3, and I knew immediately he wasn't on the Scorched plan. Yeah. So I was just spending all of my money every turn. And I had like an R&D interface, and I finally hit a 2-1. He scored 2 points. We went to the second game. I pounded out a 3-2 and 1 because I had better breakers.
Nice.
But yeah, then I go to play Aaron in the top 16. First game, I have I score a 2-1, use it to res an Archer, he shuts it down, so that's already bad. Let's get an Atlas with 1 counter on it. I'm like, all right, got a little bit of comeback. The third Carapace hits the board.
Yep.
I'm like, okay, well, that's just done. I score another 2-1. I have 3 points. One of my turns, I realized I can't Scorched Earth, and it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
I've gone through my Jackson Howards. My deck was actually kind of different, too. I was playing, I wasn't playing snares. I dropped snares for Sands. So I have 2 Sands. My turn goes, make a money, Sand in my big server, Sand in my outside server.
Right.
He takes KD money, makes a run on my deck, hits nothing, makes a run on that server, hits Sand and trashes it. He's like out of money, doesn't want him to run into outside card, and just makes money and ends his turn.
Yeah.
And then I res Sand and pound another 3-2 to go to 5 points. I lose like the 2 turns later.
Yeah.
We go to play. I'm a runner this time. I kept my opening hand. It was very good, but it didn't have a lot of, I guess, late game presence. I had like a KD and stuff, but I knew as soon as I took the KD, it was pretty much done.
Yeah.
I didn't have like account siphons, no same old things, no emergency shutdowns, no inside jobs. So
you didn't draw the cards you needed.
No. So I'm like, as soon as that Archer's up, it's up, and it's really up.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I had R&D interface out. All he had was a Bastion. He had to give me 2 bad pub early, and he had a Resin Archer. I was trying to get to like something, but I couldn't. Hit the deck probably about 6-7 times, 2 cards at a pop, nothing. It eventually came to the point where I knew he had a Melange in his hand, and he tutored out a 3-2 Atlas with his Atlas counter, and then he puts a card in the server, and I'm like, okay, if it's a Melange, it's a Melange, but I need to run it, because if it's a 3-2, he had 3 points at the time. If it's a 3-2, I just lose, he wins to tiebreakers.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there wasn't...
Not much to do, yeah?
Yeah, so I run the server, and it's a Melange, and I'm like, okay, well played. Next turn, I draw a card, draw a card, draw a card. I'm like trying to hit an account siphon, and he installed another piece of ice on that server. So it's Archer in the back, unrezzed, unrezzed in front. And the first thing he does is he rezzes Catechus, and I was like, okay, I just can't win. I put the hand on him like, that's a really good game. But yeah, now he's playing for top 8 right now. It was a really, really close game.
Nice.
I hate losing to breakers, but it's
it
part
happens,
of the game.
man. So can you tell, before we get out of here, let's tell the Tiago story, would you?
Okay. The Tiago story. So what we decided to do as like a collaborative of our little meta, I guess. Scott and Aaron are both from Milwaukee, and we're from Wisconsin, from Wausau, and we see them all the time. So Tiago is, I think he's 11.
I think he's 11.
Yeah, him and his dad both play Netrunner, and he's very good, and they're both really, really, really nice. Tiago is a stone-faced Jin Techie killing machine.
Yeah.
Like, I remember sitting down and one of my buddies played him, and I remember watching their game, and he's just the whole time the poker face, like he just doesn't let it go. And it's funny. Aaron was telling me a story about him playing too, where he just stone-faced him.
Yeah.
And Aaron's like trying to be all nice and bond with him, and he's like getting upset, like bond with me, like communicate. But yeah, so the Tiago story goes, Tiago was playing a guy, and he the guy told him that the game was pretty much over, and Tiago's like, well, I can't win this turn anyway. And the guy's like, well, you could have made it through an R&D and access the card. And then Tiago's like, well, that's not an agenda. And the guy goes, well, how do you know? And he's like, flip it up. So he flips it up, not an agenda. And then the next card in the deck is face down, obviously. And then Tiago goes, that's an agenda. And he goes, how do you know? And then he flips it up and it's an agenda. And Tiago goes, well, when you're playtesting decks, you're going to keep your agenda core. Like, if you're playing Wayland Scorched Earth, your agendas don't change.
Yeah.
No matter how many ice you change out, your agendas stay the same. But since that happened, he realized that the agendas that you keep are going to put more play on your sleeves.
Right, so the dirtier sleeves, yeah.
So the dirtier sleeves, or the sleeves, like, you can see like the creases on like the corners. The ones that have like agendas in them are going to stay consistent.
Nice.
And like he could tell by looking at it which ones were and like he just Rain Man the guy. I was like,
it's fantastic.
Holy
man.
cow! And he called him out in an Eli too.
It's fantastic.
The Eli promo. But yeah, so then our agreement was whoever wins any of these events, if they're going to make a card, we're going to make Tiago 1.0, and it's going to have a one encountered effect to look at the top card of your deck.
Yeah. It's perfect, man.
He's a nice kid. I love his dad. They're both really cool guys.
Awesome, Brad. Well, congrats.
Thanks.
Way to go.
Yeah,
you had a great season.
You too.
Thank you. And I'm going to go play some Thrones and see what I can
All
do.
right, see what you can do.
Take care, man.
Yep.